Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I'm your math and science tutor. Today, I'm going to show you how to multiply any numbers faster than a calculator. The first method is the addition method. And what does that mean? So when we have 55 times 9, that seems really daunting to do in our heads, the normal, traditional pen and paper way. So we can use something called the addition method to break this up and make it a lot more easy. So for example, we can break 55 down into 50 plus 5. And then we can distribute 9. We can multiply 5 by 9 and 50 by 9. First, we'll multiply 9 by 50. Well, 9 times 5 is 45, and we have a 0, so 50 times 9 is 450. And then 9 times 5 is 45. So now we just add 45 and 450, and we get 495. And there's our answer. All right, how about 87 times 6? Again, we're going to use the addition method. We can break 87 into 80 plus 7, and then distribute the 6. So first, we're going to multiply 6 times 80. Well, 6 times 8 is 48, and we have a 0, so that's equal to 480. And 6 times 7 is 42. So now we just add. All right, 480 plus 42 will be 522. And that's our final answer. There's another way you can solve problems like these, and that's called the subtraction method. So 99 times 3. This time, instead of breaking this into 90 plus 9, we're going to say 100 minus 1, because 100 minus 1 is equal to 99. And then we can multiply 100 minus 1 times 3. And we're going to multiply 3 times 100. 3 times 100 is 300, and 3 times 1 is 3. So 300 minus 3 is going to be 297, and that's our final answer. What about 67 times 5? Again, let's try our subtraction method. We will take 70 minus 3 and multiply that by 5. And so 5 times 70, well, 5 times 7 is 35, and we have a 0, so this is 350. And then 3 times 5 is 15, so we'll subtract 15 from 350 to get 335. And that's our final answer. All right, now let's try something called the factoring method. We have 91 times 24. And if you tried to use the addition or subtraction method, you could definitely do this problem. However, it would take a lot longer than using the factoring method. Now, it's important to note that before we get started, the factoring method only works on numbers that you can factor. So in this case, we can factor, or in other words, break 24 down into 8 times 3. Okay, and we're going to multiply that by 91. First, I always like to multiply the higher number by the number that we need to multiply by first, and you'll see why. So first, I'm going to take 91 times 8. And this may look daunting, but we're going to break this down. 9 times 8 is 72, but we're working with 90. So this is going to be 720. And then we're going to add 8 times 1, which is 8. So our answer is going to be 728. However, now we need to take 728 and multiply that by 3. Okay, first we'll break this down. We're going to break this down to 700 plus 20 plus 8, and we're going to multiply all those numbers by 3. We're going to multiply 700 by 3 first. Well, 7 times 3 is 21, and we have 2 zeros. Okay, 3 times 20. 3 times 2 is 6, and we have a 0. And finally, 8 times 3 is 24. Now we need to add these numbers together. So 24 plus 60 is 84, and then we add 84 to 2100. So our final answer is 2,184. Okay, let's try another problem. 83 times 56. So again, let's use the factoring method. 56 can be split into 8 times 7, and we have 83. So I'm going to multiply with the larger number first. We have 83. We're going to break 83 into 80 plus 3, and then we're going to multiply by 8. The first thing we're going to do is multiply 8 times 80, and 8 times 8 is 64, and we have a 0, so we add that to the end. Then 8 times 3 is 24. We just add those together to get 664. All right, now we need to multiply 664 times 7, because that's what's left. And to do that, we're going to break 664 into 600 plus 60 plus 4. And we're going to multiply all that by 7. So 7 times 6 is 42, and we'll add the 2 zeros. 7 times 6 is 42, and we'll add our 1 0. And then 7 times 4 is 28. Now we add all of these numbers together, and we end up with 4648. And that's our final answer. All right, now we're going to try some practice problems. Our first problem is 199 times 15. You can use any of the methods that I showed you, and remember, when working on problems like these, you can get creative. Pause the video, try it on your own, and then we'll go over it together. All right, hopefully you tried this. For me, I believe that the easiest way is the subtraction method, because I am going to turn 199 into 200 minus 1, and then I'm going to multiply by 15. Well, 2 times 15 is 30, and we have 2 zeros, and 15 times 1 is 15. And we can subtract 15 from 3,000 to get 2,985. And that's our final answer. All right, and then let's try this problem. 298 times 225. For this problem, I'm going to use multiple methods to solve it. So the first thing I'm going to do is take 298 and turn it into 300 minus 2. And then I can turn 225 into 15 times 15. So the first thing I'm going to do is take 300 minus 2 times our first 15. Well, 3 times 15 is 45, and we've got 2 zeros. And 2 times 15 is 30. So we can do some subtraction here. We'll get 4,470 as our answer. And now we need to take our final 15 and multiply. And this looks like a lot, so we're going to simplify this as well. The first thing I'm going to do is take this number and just rewrite it so that I have more space. I'm going to break the 15 into 10 plus 5, and then I'm going to multiply these together. Well, this big number, 4,470 times 10, is 44,700. How did I know that? Well, since I multiplied by 10, all you have to do is just add a 0 to the end of that number. So that's how I got here. And now 5 is half of 10. So we know that 5 times this number is just going to be half. So we need to divide 44,700 by 2. And here's how we can do that easily. 700 divided by 2 is 350, and 44 divided by 2 is 22. So now we just add these together, and we'll have our final answer. 4 plus 2 is 6, 4 plus 2 is 6, 7 plus 3 is 10. We'll leave the 0, carry the 1. We've got a 5 here and a 0 here, so let's add our 1. We have 67,050 as our final answer. Now, my final thought on this is you have to practice these problems to get good at them. 1, because you need to practice being creative with these problems. And 2, because you can't multiply and keep track of all this information in your head overnight. It takes a lot of practice. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips and tricks on how to easily multiply, divide, add, and subtract, and become faster than a calculator, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching.